Hi, this is Dave Brooks, the Manager of Conservation Services at Spring Valley Nature Center. And we are here today for Because TV, Schaumburg Park District, to talk a little bit about our annual native plant sale. All right, I have with me here Carolyn, Quinn.
Hi.
Hello, and Denise Suender.
Hi.
Pronounced your name correctly this time. And you're both with the Schaumburg Community Garden Club. And talking about the plant sale, maybe I don't know which one of you wants to take this, but describe the garden club's role in this whole plant sale. So,
Well,
Denise,
if I can start out, Dave,
Sure.
I'm proud to have been a member of the Garden Club for 20 years. The Garden Club has been established for 25 years. It's our 25th year. And for many years, I'm not sure how many, we've supported the native plant sale here at Spring Valley and support Spring Valley. And this year, our 25th year, I'll hand it over to Carolyn. She'll explain some of the new exciting plants that we have. We have quite a few new, over 25 new varieties. And I'll let
Sure.
Carolyn explain some of the plants.
Thank you, Denise. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Denise, by the way, is president of our garden club, and we're very proud of her. I'm chairing the native plant sale this year, and it's a first for me. I'm very excited. We have some of the plants that we will be selling in posters here behind me. We have echinacea. This is the year of the echinacea. Purple coneflowers. We have gem triflorum here, which is also known as prairie smoke. And we have an Asclepias version here that attracts butterflies. This one is the marsh or swamp milkweed.
Okay.
They come in all colors. You could get yellow flowers, you could get red flowers, but I just have posters of pink and blue. So here we have Phlox divaricata. This is a native woodland phlox with beautiful little flowers. Here we have a wild petunia. And here, is this one Jacob's ladder?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we have beautiful Jacob's ladder. There are a good 100 plants that we have available to people in the area and people who come to the fair.
Okay. Actually, why don't you hang on to that for a bit? Can you explain a little bit for people who may be either novice gardeners or not as familiar with the native plants? What is the advantage of going native in their garden?
Encouraging people and joining in with people to make more natural landscapes is beneficial for the whole world, and it's beneficial for us as gardeners because these are beautiful plants. Furthermore, they take less water, they take less chemicals to keep them alive and healthy. They hold the roots in place so we don't have as much erosion. They're good for a myriad number of things, and we're proud to be helping increase natives in natural landscapes in the area.
Sure.
And I want to add, brings in the butterflies, the birds, and all kinds of wildlife, and our precious bees.
Okay.
We need those pollinators.
And I think you might have just mentioned, but how many different varieties did you say? Like 100, or how many different varieties of native plants will people find at the plant sale?
Just so happens, Dave, that right here behind you, we have a copy of the form. Actually, it's 4 pages long.
Okay, so that's a lot of plants.
That's a lot of
total,
plants.
Carolyn. We have 48 prairie plants, 20 grasses and sedge, 24 woodland flowers and vines, 11 trees and bushes, 6 ferns, and we also have non-native, but herbs and 24 non-perennials. But Carolyn's brought in a new 25 special lists this year, and I'll let her talk about that.
Sure.
Well, being as it's the Garden Club's 25th anniversary, and Dave was just telling us he thinks that the native plant sale has been going on for 25 years, it turns out that the Perennial Plant Association has also been naming a winning selection every year for the last 25 years. So we have 25 plants this year available. Each one is a Perennial Plant of the Year selection, and this year's is Panicum virgatum northwind. So that's a switchgrass, and it is beautiful in our landscapes. It gives you some nice vertical, gives you nice color in the fall, and if you leave it standing up in the winter, you have something pretty to look at then too.
Sure. And now folks who are interested in these plants, obviously should mention that the native plant sale will be held on Sunday, May 4th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. But I know that people can also pre-order plants too up until
April 18th.
All right. And if people find out about this too late to get their pre-orders in, Should mention that this is an annual event, and they should be able to get plenty of selection still on the day of the fair, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a huge white tent set up on the lawn, part of the Backyard for Nature
Mm-hmm.
Fair, and we will have it filled with hundreds and hundreds of plants, and we expect hundreds of people to be walking through, enjoying them, celebrating with us.
So, and if people do want to be included on a mailing list to get notification of future plant sales, how would they do that?
Well, look what Denise has.
Okay.
This is this is the URL to our website.
Okay.
Plus, you have wonderful photos of all the plants. All you have to do is hit on the plant of all these on the list, and it'll show you the pretty pictures, way beyond what we brought here today.
This year I did something a little bit different. I made a video of all of our plants that we're having for sale, particularly the natives, that is available on YouTube. So if anybody would like to look on YouTube, they have the numbers that match our order form, and you can look to see the plant and where it is on our order form.
Okay. Now I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, but what would you say to the person who maybe is a gardener or just starting again, who is a little nervous about these native wild and woolly plants and what they're going to do to their garden? Are these going to create a weedy look in their garden?
All gardeners know that what you really need to have a plan, and you can deviate from your plan, and you end up moving plants sometimes from one spot to another spot. But we gardeners also know that oftentimes you get a trouble spot. Maybe you have a wet, soggy place in your yard where you're having trouble getting things to grow, and maybe you've been trying to put plants there that haven't been thriving. Well, you might want to consider putting a native plant that particularly thrives in those kinds of conditions. We had a guest speaker at our meeting last month who was an expert on establishing rain gardens, and she showed us gorgeous slides of gardens full of natives mixed with non-natives, and they were particularly hardy in places that are wet and soggy. But you can have the opposite extreme. You might have a dry or a shady place. It would be a great idea to look to see what all these plants have in terms of an ability to thrive in any of your trouble spots. Come see us.
Okay. And I should mention, I know that on the website, in addition to the photographs, there is information about the plants, correct, as to how tall they get and if they need full sun or shade or whatnot.
Right. We even have a section, and also where it's best used in a water garden, a dry garden, a sun garden, and they're not invasive. They won't take over your garden, I think is one comment that Dave maybe wanted us to express. And they will regrow, and they don't take as much maintenance as Carolyn mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I should mention that as I think it was mentioned, but the native plants are almost all perennial plants, which of course means that once you get them established, they'll come back year after year without a lot of extra effort on your part, because they're so well adapted to our climate and soils. So.
A lot of our gardeners like to hear that phrase, low maintenance. But I'm reminded, Dave, we have something else that we're doing new this year. We're going to have an information table, a booth of master gardeners from the University of Illinois Extension Program, and they will be there to answer questions of people who are at the fair if they'd like to know about which plants are going to do what in their garden.
Okay, all right, great, that's good, because I know a lot of people always do have questions about, not just the native plants, but maybe general garden design types of questions too. So
we're thrilled about that. And our president is a just recent Master Gardener intern with the University of Illinois Extension Program.
I'm an intern, and our vice president is an intern. We both just finished the class, but Carolyn's a full-fledged Master Gardener, and we have a few of those in our class. But we also in our club, we also have a lot of people just wanting to start to learn about gardening. And our sale is a little different than other plant sales you go to. Not only is it native plants, but our members interact with you when you come and buy the plants. We not only fill the orders for you, but we will take time to talk to you about what plants would be better for what in your garden. So we're a pretty fun, friendly group. And again, we'd love you to come to our garden club and learn more about us. We're here right at Spring Valley on the second Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock.
Schaumburg Community Garden Club is definitely an organization that gives back to the community in lots of ways, and so by supporting the native plant sale, you'll not only be improving and beautifying your own landscape with these wonderful native plants, but you're actually helping a lot of community groups as well, because the funds that are raised, as Denise said, go back into all these community projects. So So I will also mention that at the Backyards for Nature Fair, it's more than just a native plant sale. There's activities for the kids in our kids garden at the Nature Center. Prairie Woods Audubon Society will be out to help kids build birdhouses that they can take home. There'll be a free wildflower seedling that kids can transplant themselves, and they can take that home. And also the Spring Valley Nature Club will be selling a variety of heirloom vegetables as well. So there's really there's lots to take away from this, and even if you don't have a big budget and you're not planning on buying a lot of plants, there's plenty of things to do at this event. So I'd encourage everyone to attend. And do you have any final thoughts that you want to share, or final cheer to get people out there?
Well, the final cheer is these are unusual plants. You're not going to find them at the big box stores, and there aren't so many small garden stores anymore. I won't name them, but we do have some wonderful plants that you cannot obtain in too many other ways of native plants, and they're at very, very good prices. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Here in Schaumburg, we're very, very fond and proud of Spring Valley Nature Sanctuary. And buying native plants, planting native plants at home or in your neighbor's yard, helps to make a nature sanctuary at home. Be it a bit smaller, but it's still a nature sanctuary, and you can have one at home.
That's right. That's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we do. So that's a part of our mission, is not just to get people to come to the Nature Center, but to hopefully get them to take a little bit of that Nature Center home to their own home landscape. So, so thank you very much, both of you, and I hope we'll see all of you out at the Native Plant Sale again Sunday, May 4th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is Dave Brooks for BCUZ TV. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.